Food is an essential component for the survival of organisms, including humans. The food we choose to purchase and consume not only has effects on overall health, but also greatly influences the environment and the global economy. Plant-based foods and whole foods that have not been processed have substantially lower negative impacts on the environment, the economy, and overall health. America has been experiencing a growing obesity problem over the past decade. This epidemic was influenced by many factors, primarily the typical Western diet, which consists of refined grains, foods with added sugar and fat, and a bulk of meat and poultry. Sweets, soda, and fast foods are also a common indulgence for many Americans. The average American also consumes about 100 pounds of meat per year. Meat and poultry contain large amounts of saturated fat and frequently antibiotics. Excessive intake of saturated fat is linked with high blood cholesterol levels, which can lead to a variety of health problems, such as heart disease and stroke. The large intake of processed foods and meat play a role in America's obesity epidemic. Switching to a plant-based diet is associated with improved kidney function, reduced risk of cancer, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, along with many other benefits. Vegan diets include more variety of whole grains, beans, peas, nuts, and seeds. These foods not only contain protein, they also contain crucial ingredients such as fiber, antioxidants, magnesium, folate, and vitamins. Consumer Report published a study where out of 450,000 adults who followed a diet that was 70% plant-derived, they had a 20% lower risk of dying from heart disease or stroke than those whose diets were centered on meat and dairy. This evidence supports that individuals do not need to completely cut out meat, rather they should focus on maximizing nutrient-filled plant foods. This article also revealed a link between increasing fruit and vegetable consumption with reduced risk of cognitive decline later in adulthood. According to findings, eating no more than 3.5 ounces of meat daily may help prevent loss of brain cells equivalent to about 3 or 4 years of aging. Economically, the production of livestock has proven to be very wasteful. In order to sell meat, farmers must raise and feed animals before they are able to be slaughtered. With the massive amounts of livestock in each factory farm, a surplus of food is required to nourish the animal for its whole life until it's old enough to be killed and sent to the supermarket. The World Economic Forum states that a plant-based economic approach could save billions of dollars for countries around the world, and by reducing animal consumption, individuals could also reduce the amount of grains needed to feed the animal. This not only saves time and money, it would also save land that is being used for livestock and the production of livestock's food. Factory farming is also indirectly responsible for global mass deforestation and draining of wetlands. According to Green and Growing, over 260 million acres of forest in the United States have been cleared to grow food to feed animals in factory farms. Further, it takes 2,400 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of meat, whereas it only takes about 25 gallons of water to produce a pound of wheat. Americans are using vast amounts of resources such as land, water, and crops in order to keep up with the massive demand for meat in the typical Western diet. The rise in demand for crops to feed livestock leads to mass deforestation and clearing of natural land. Essentially, the food that an individual chooses to eat has effects beyond their bodily functioning, also having impacts on the utilization of resources. Individual diet choices of people directly impacts the environment. Large masses of land are cleared of natural life in order to make room for more farmland or pasture land. In the Amazon, 70% of the forest land that has been converted to pasture land. Large removals of natural land affects the planet and harms various ecosystems. It is estimated that 30% of land on Earth not covered by ice is directly or indirectly used in the production of livestock. The demand for animal-based products has taken over the Earth and requires massive amounts of land and creates immense pollution. A study discussed by the World Economic Forum reveals that plant-based meat alternatives produce 10 times less greenhouse gas emissions than meat-based products. Though it may seem unattainable, switching to a plant-based diet would have countless benefits. Over time, by demanding less meat as a whole community, companies would adapt their practices in order to maximize their profits. With that saying, if consumers demand higher quality and sustainably sourced food, companies will begin to shift their products and methods of production. By transitioning to a diet focused on whole foods and reducing animal product consumption, individuals can reap many health benefits. Along with improved general bodily functioning, by not funding factory farms, individuals are reducing the demand for products that create an environmental and economic strain. When it comes to making decisions about eating patterns, it is important to understand how personal choices have a widespread effect. It is convenient to stick to eating patterns that were taught while growing up in America. However, just because the average American diet is convenient does not mean that it is healthy physically, economically, or environmentally. By transitioning to a plant-based diet, people can experience the many benefits of eating unprocessed whole foods with a variety of plant proteins while still indulging in portions of meat if they still desire.